The King Who Found True Riches. In the Gilded Kingdom, King Reginald had everything. His castle had towers of gold, and his vaults overflowed with jewels. But for all his riches, the king was desperately, hopelessly bored. "Make me laugh," he ordered his royal jester. The jester juggled and tumbled, but the king did not even smile. "I am weary of games," the king sighed. "I need a real adventure." His advisors suggested a grand hunt in the Whispering Woods. "The forest is full of cunning beasts, Your Majesty," they said. The king's eyes lit up for the first time in months. "Prepare the horses," he commanded. "The hunt is on." The hunt began with a great blast of horns. King Reginald, on his powerful white stallion, galloped ahead of everyone. He soon spotted his prize, a magnificent fox with fur the color of fire. The fox was clever, leading the king on a wild chase. It darted through tangled thorny bushes and leaped over babbling brooks, drawing him deeper and deeper into the ancient woods. With a final flick of its tail, the fox vanished into a hollow log. The king pulled his horse to a stop. The horns of his hunting party were gone. The trees all looked the same. He was utterly and completely lost. As the sun began to set, the sky grew dark with storm clouds. A cold rain began to fall, soaking the king's fine velvet clothes. A rumble of thunder echoed through the trees, and for the first time in his life, King Reginald felt a pang of real fear. Shivering and hungry, he stumbled through the dark, wet forest. His stomach rumbled louder than the thunder. Just as he was about to give up hope, he saw a tiny, warm light flickering between the trees. He followed the light to a small, sturdy cabin built of logs. The door creaked open, and a man with a kind, weathered face and a thick beard looked out. "You look lost, friend," the man said. "Come in from the storm." Inside, a warm fire crackled in the hearth. The cabin was small, but it was filled with a cozy warmth the king's grand castle lacked. The woodcutter's wife, Ilara, smiled at him, while their two young children, Leo and Iris, peeked at the stranger from behind her skirts. "You must be hungry," Ilara said, her voice as warm as the fire. She ladled a thick vegetable soup into a wooden bowl and handed it to the king. It wasn't a royal feast, but to the cold and starving Reginald, it was the most delicious meal he had ever tasted. The family did not ask his name or rank. They simply treated him as a welcome guest. After dinner, the children, Leo and Iris, shyly brought out their favorite toys to show him, a carved wooden bird and a doll made of corn husks. As the storm raged outside, Finn told stories of the forest, of clever squirrels and wise old owls. The king, who had only ever heard stories of battles and kings, listened with rapt attention, feeling a peace he had never known. The next morning, King Reginald awoke on a simple straw mattress. The sun was streaming through the small window, and the air was fresh and clean. He felt more rested than he had in all his years of sleeping on a feather bed. He saw Finn heading out the door with an axe over his shoulder. A strange feeling came over the king, a desire to be useful. "May I help you?" he asked. Finn looked surprised, then smiled and handed him a spare axe. Chopping wood was hard work. The king's hands, soft and unused to labor, quickly blistered. But Finn was a patient teacher, showing him how to swing the axe just right. They worked side by side, the rhythmic thud of the axes echoing in the quiet morning. Later, he helped Ilara fetch water from the well. He felt the strain in his arms as he pulled the heavy bucket up, and the splash of the cool water on his face was refreshing. He felt strong. He spent the afternoon helping young Leo mend a broken fence. The boy chattered happily, explaining how the fence kept the deer from eating the vegetables in their garden. The king listened, learning more than he ever had from his royal tutors. While they worked, little Iris made a crown of wildflowers and placed it on the king's head. He looked at his reflection in a puddle and, for the first time in a very long time, he let out a deep, hearty laugh. That evening, as they shared another simple meal of bread and cheese, Reginald looked at the smiling faces of the woodcutter's family. He realized their home was richer than his entire kingdom, for it was filled with love and laughter. Suddenly, The blast of royal horns shattered the peace of the forest. The royal guards, their armor gleaming, burst into the clearing. They stared in disbelief at their king, dressed in borrowed clothes with a crown of flowers on his head. The king said a heartfelt goodbye to the family. "You have shown me the meaning of true wealth," he told them, his voice thick with emotion. "I will never forget your kindness." Back in his palace, the gold seemed cold, and the vast halls felt terribly empty. He ignored the feast prepared for his return and instead ordered the royal cook to make a simple vegetable soup. King Reginald was a changed man. He ordered the gates of the palace gardens to be opened so all the children of the kingdom could play among the flowers. He built schools and made sure no one in his kingdom ever went hungry. The king was never bored again. His greatest joy was no longer found in his treasure room, but in sharing stories and a simple bowl of soup with his people. He had learned that the greatest treasure of all is not gold or jewels, but a happy and generous heart.